Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Signal. Today's video analysis is FedEx Corporation, symbol FDX. Everybody knows FedEx, especially in the age of COVID. The package delivery service has been around decades. I don't think I need to say any more about that. I'm going to be walking you through a number of monthly and weekly bar charts over the next few minutes. But before I do so, once again, go to wickedsignal.com if you would. Click on the free subscription link at the top. Fill out your first, last name and email address, and you will be privy to these videos as they come out. They'll land in your inbox. I don't send you follow-up sales emails, and I also don't sell your information to any other outside services. I want to expand the subscriber base. It's free, so please tell your investor friends, your trader friends, and yourself, if you haven't done so already, to fill out that free subscription form. Let's jump into FedEx. You're taking a look actually at a long-term monthly chart that goes back to the 1970s or early 80s anyway, and you can see a lot of volatility over the last few years, especially following that March low. This is a monthly chart. We've gone straight up. This is really speaks to the demand, obviously, of the package delivery service and Amazon and so forth and so on. I am big on channel formations if you haven't been able to see that already. And we are testing one. We have for the last month and a half or so. That October high, we tested that channel top that you can see here. We've also been testing it in the month of November. Let's move to a weekly bar chart and kind of zoom in on that area. And you can see here that for this week, and I'm actually recording this on Wednesday, November 18th. So that 16 is the week of Monday, November 16th. And I show a full month later, the week of December 14th, Monday, December 14th, rises from 288.73 to 289.11. If you want the exact numeric output for this long-term significant channel top on a week-by-week basis, just subtract those two out, divide by 4, and you'll have the exact numeric output into later November and early December. But this is a ceiling of resistance. It is significant. Am I bearish now, FedEx? No. How could you be with what's happened over the last 6 months? But this is an area that if you're long FedEx, to, I think, liquidate a long position and sort of take it on a week-by-week basis from here on out. From here, we can fall back. How far south is anybody's guess? I will give you the next significant, let's say, mid to longer-term sell signal in a few minutes if we violate key support on the way down. But for right now, this is a significant zone of resistance. It is put buying territory, call selling territory, or long liquidation territory up into the upper 280s, 288.73 the week of Monday, November 16th, and you can see the rest here. Now, if we happen to close above it, and I like to see that by at least a 1% margin on significant long-term signals. Near to mid-term signals, just a few ticks is fine, but I like to see it by at least a 1% margin. A few weeks ago, about a month and a half ago, we actually pushed through this formation by almost 2%, and the market fell back to close below it. We have not yet settled above this formation on a weekly basis, certainly not on a monthly basis. And for the week, for instance, of Monday, November 16th, a 1% violation beyond 288.73 would be 291.61. So if on Friday, November 20th, that would be, that week, we settle that week above 288.73 by at least a 1% margin. In other words, closing at or above 291.61, we have a significant long-term buy signal. Now, we're already in a sort of a bull market. It's pretty vertical right now, but it's at risk, holding below the upper 280s of not only consolidating, but rotating south, maybe aggressively as we continue into the first quarter. But if we close above this upper area, then a bullish continuation on a longer term basis. And I can give you the initial target, really. There's not a whole lot going on here. I've got some Fibonacci wave counts and things that I've already studied, but I'm just giving you the basic here. I think this is a realistic objective. Remember, this is a weekly chart. I'm going to give this several months, perhaps. I don't think it would take much longer that with this heightened volatility to reach into the 340 the 340s pretty quickly. And that in itself, doing the math in my head, would be, is that a 20% rally? Yeah, that's about a 20% rally beyond where we are now. And there's more where that came from. So I would expect that 340 and change a trend line. It's just a simple trend line off the 2009 activity against the 2018 high, the 340s. This is an area where the market could top out for a month, maybe a full quarter. From there, could we fall back into the 280s, 290s again? Perhaps. But overall, I just want to point out the fact that I like the full channel extensions. This channel has been filling out. It's been trading. The market's been honoring this channel top. And so if we close above it, I really think there's a decent chance, I know this is pretty out there, but, the 480s, 490s, how long would that take? Well, it took about, 6 or 8 months to go from the channel to the top of the channel. So we could extend all the way into the 480s, 490s over the next 6 or 8 months if this volatility remains intact and this directional trade remains intact. And it's not going to, once again, unless we were to settle above 288.73 the week of Monday, November 16th by at least a 1% margin, which once again is at 291.61 or higher at the end of this week. And that number will change, that 1% violator, by the way. I'll let you do the math yourself. There's also kind of a full wave count going on up there in the 460s, which is nothing more than subtracting the 2018 high, the 2020 low from the 2018 high. A full 100% swing to the upside would be 460.63. So there's all kinds of stuff going on up there. And I honestly think that is a realistic, just call it a 1 to 2 year target, and could actually be realized in as little as 6 to 8 months. If the present volatility we're in the midst of, the move that we've seen since the March low continues, then yes, 6 to 8 months. Now, that hasn't happened yet. And we are merely testing a long-term ceiling at this point, and it's anybody's guess as to what this may do. Are we to fall back from here into the first and second quarter of 21, or are we to continue higher with a buy signal above this area, but holding below it? And we'll zoom in here on this weekly chart so you can see how this has been holding. It's held again this week so far, and we backed off it following the high a day or two ago, 288.73, that long-term channel top. From here, the market, now I'm just giving you one number, and that's the week of Monday, November 30th, because I'm not expecting to test this area this week. But if over the next couple of weeks, you can see how we've got both a short-term kind of a horizontal channel bottom structure and an ascending channel bottom off the activity from the March low. All comes together at 251.14. If we settle below that area, I do think the market is going to continue south into the first quarter. How far south, I'm not prepared to say, and that's really not the point here. The point really is, as I looked at this FedEx chart, is that we are testing a significant long-term resistance area. Do as you may, whether you play this or not. If you're long FedEx, though, I think liquidating presently and waiting, giving up a little bit if the market were to push through this upper 280s and close in the lower 290s or higher at the end of this week. Okay, so you sell it in the lower 280s or the mid 280s, and you buy it back in the mid 290s. Big deal. There's plenty of that, plenty more where that came from. Looking, as I said in the previous slide, the 460s to 490s over the next full year or so. But until then, this market can back off, and once again closing below 251.14. For instance, that final week of November, Monday 11/30 and November 30th, we closed below that. The market has indicated a good high, I think, through the first quarter, possibly well into next year. And that is really all that needs to be said for this particular wicked signal video on FedEx Corporation.